Welcome to Sylvia Speaks, a space created for Latinas to cultivate healing, knowledge around trauma, money wounds, finding your purpose, and unapologetically speaking your truth. A space that talks about it all, from healing mother wounds, difficulties in parenting, struggles in love, and the journey to self-discovery. Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 37 of Sylvia Speaks, the podcast. This is also the season finale for season 1. Crazy. 37 episodes in. I can't believe it. This has been just such a great passion project of mine, and I appreciate every single one of you for staying on this journey with me and just for all of your support, your continued support, your feedback. I truly love you guys so much. And I'm so happy that the content that I put out, it resonates with a lot of you, because sometimes I'll be talking about things and I'm like, I don't think people will understand me. And you do. So thank you for a great first season. I can't wait to see where season 2 takes us. And I'm going to be starting season 2 with chapter 31, which is going to be an episode dedicated to my birthday, my 31st birthday. I don't even want to talk about it right now. But today is going to be we're going to kind of go back to the first episode and like just do a full circle moment. Run it back, because the first episode, I am confusión. I talk about just me being by, what the hell was it? Not biracial. I don't know why I can't think right now. But anyway, I'm Latina, but my dad is Puerto Rican and my mom is Mexican. My dad was born in Puerto Rico on the island, and he came here when he was 19. And my mom is first generation. She was born here in the States. Her dad was also, like I talked about in the first episode, her dad was also an American, but he was told his whole life that he was not, and that he didn't have papers, so he believed he was here illegally. Crazy story. But anyway, her mom was from Mexico. And so just being a first generation mom, like my mother, like there's a lot of things that she went through as a child, as a teenager, as an adult. And then same thing with my dad. Even though Puerto Rico is part of the US, it is just very different. And just being raised by them, and just how like life went, and how I found my footing. And I really talk about how bicultural, that's what it was, not biracial, bicultural. Just two different cultures, like both Latino, but the Mexican culture is so different from a Puerto Rican culture. And I felt like I was so much more connected to my Caribbean side. And I still feel that way. I still feel like I look more Puerto Rican. I feel like the rhythm that I have in me, is that salsa. Like I really, really, really resonate with a lot of different things from my Puerto Rican culture. But I'm running it back, because as much as I thought that I was not connected as much to my Mexican culture, even though I grew up in it, I was in Mexico, I was in Tijuana all the time with my parents. I just didn't feel like I had the same type of connection to that culture like I did to my Puerto Rican culture. But being with my boyfriend, who is 100% Mexican, and he is first generation, he is the baby. But it's crazy, because my mom kind of like was explaining this to me the other day. She was like, he may be closer to age, in your age bracket, but he grew up like me. So there's a lot of different things, costumbres, right? Like different things that he's used to, that are going to be the same things that I was used to, or that I am used to, the different types of ways that I treat people, or, what things that we expect. And it's so different, because he thinks like my generation, but he is from your generation. I was like, I never thought about that, because my boyfriend is very old school. He looks super modern, like homeboy got a grill, like like he looks like he's, he's with he's with it. He's with the shits. He's with the times, and he is. But values wise, he's very old school, and I love it. But it is also an adjustment because it's like you you like expect something, like it's like you expect something that like my parents are used to, and I'm like not, like I wasn't raised like that. So it's just been a learning curve, but also so interesting. And at the same time, as like our relationship is progressing and we're learning more about each other and like different things, going to like a family party with him and like the music that he listens to, it's kind of all come like full circle. And I'm like, maybe I need to revisit what I said, because I think that being in this relationship has been a lot more healing for me and like my inner child than I could have ever imagined. I think that the relationship that I had with my Mexican culture, perhaps there was some trauma that was like with that. I haven't quite figured it out yet. I don't know if it was because like the family that we would go visit in Mexico was like my stepdad's family. Maybe I didn't feel like I belonged 100%. I don't know. I don't really remember. Like it hasn't like fully like hit me yet, but I feel like that's the direction, like like as I'm like going through like processing like my traumas, I feel like that's the direction that we're going into, because I don't really know why, even though I was so engulfed in that culture, I felt disconnected at the same time. Very weird. But as like I listen to like music or my boyfriend plays songs and I'm like, oh shit, like I'm like, I remember this song. And I have this weird thing. If anybody knows what it is called, I'm dying to know. I should Google it. I haven't, because every time that I think about it, I'm driving and like I'm not gonna like Google it while I'm driving. But I have one of the I have an immaculate memory when it comes to songs. I could hear a song once and I'll remember like most of it. Maybe not like the words 100%, but the melody, like like the chorus maybe. I remember it. Like I pick up on that shit so quick, and I could hear it out and about and I'm like, "Ooh, I remember that song." I may not remember the name. May not remember the artist, but I remember like the song. And so these are songs that are like 20 plus years old, and he's playing them and I'm like, "Oh shit." Like it's bringing up like core memories for me. Like I'm remembering my parents playing this music. I'm remembering like, me and my mom spending time with each other and like this music playing. And like, this was like music that my parents listened to. And I'm like, this is all so familiar to me. And I'm like, it was very nostalgic. And then just to hear him share like his memories of like those specific songs and how, he knew it was with his mom or his sisters. And I'm just like, wow, like there is a lot that we have in common, and there is a lot that like I'm like, oh wow, like I was I was very much more engulfed in that culture than like I think that I gave myself credit for, that I remember. I don't know. But it's been very interesting just revisiting how I felt and how I feel about like being Mexican, because I don't feel like I was able to proudly say it before. Like I was like, I don't even feel like I look Mexican. Like I think people just assume it because we're in San Diego and people are ignorant. They're just like, you're Mexican. But I don't really feel like I look like it. And so for me, it was just like a culture shock where I didn't feel like I could really belong. And then when I went to Puerto Rico, it was like, people look like me and I'm a goddess here. So like, soy boricua, like, and I'm still proud to say I'm Puerto Rican, but I never felt that type of like orgullo, like proudness saying that about being Mexican, because I just didn't, for whatever reason, feel connected to it. But I feel like being in my relationship has been very healing in that sense, to where I'm like, no, this is my culture. This is what I'm a part of. This is what I grew up with. These are the things that I like. I like that music. I remember hearing those songs. Like I remember the songs, you know? And I like it. And so I'm kind of one of those OCD, ADHD type people that like when I find something that I like, I will burn it out sometimes. Like I will just like play the song a million times until I'm done. Like I'm like, all right, that's it. Yeah, yes, cool. Like, or I will, eat the thing until I'm like sick and tired of it. And so the other day he played a song in the car where I was like, when he played it, I was like, oh my God, I remember like when I was a kid, I fucking loved this song. Like I loved when it would play on the radio. I remember my parents had like the CD, maybe even the tape. I don't recall like how old this was, but I know that they would play it. And I was like, it invoked so many different memories and like emotions inside of me to where I was like, oh my God, I became obsessed and like I had to listen to the song a million times. And it's like 5 days later and I'm still listening to the song a million times. Like, and it just sent me down a rabbit hole of listening to other songs and other tracks that were from that time that I was like, wow, like I forgot how I grew up with this. Like I forgot how this was a part of my life, how I listened to these songs on like a daily basis. Like, and I don't know. I mean, I know I was a kid and there's really not much that I can like fully remember from being a child, but I'm very curious as to why there's a lot of parts from my childhood that I've kind of like blocked out of my memory. Um, Again, I remember, like, I know that I grew up more with my Mexican culture than I did with my Puerto Rican culture. But why was it that I felt so disconnected? Like, why was it that I felt like maybe even ashamed? Like, and not ashamed to be like, oh, I'm Mexican, but ashamed to feel like I didn't belong. And I feel like that was more what it was. Like, I felt like I didn't belong. Like, saying that I was Mexican felt kind of fraudulent because it was like, well, I don't look like it. And I don't really speak Spanish all that well. Like, I don't this, I don't that. And for some odd reason, I just felt like I didn't belong. And I felt like maybe I was more accepted in, my Puerto Rican culture. Like I was more accepted, like being a Caribbean, like I look like it, like I have the rhythm. And that's probably a story that I just told myself for a really long time. And like going to Puerto Rico, like solidified it for me. But being with my boyfriend and like kind of healing that childhood trauma, that mysterious childhood trauma that I haven't quite pinpointed yet, has been so freeing. Like, and in ways that I haven't even told him yet, because I'm like, I don't know how to explain that to him. I don't know how to explain that him like playing songs, music that he grew up with, that I grew up with, but that he like continued to listen to and like really loves because like he's obviously super proud to be Mexican. That I also love, but I like pushed down because I didn't feel like I belonged. Like I felt like kind of like imposter syndrome. And it's been crazy. It's been like a weird, like crazy journey. And I've just been listening to, and he was trying to explain it to me too, but I need him to explain it again. But the different like regional music, like the different, basically like genres, like is it banda, like is it norte, like I don't know. But anyway, that type of music, like Ramon Ayala, like Grupo Limite, Intocable, like, shit like that, like Banda Recodo, like things like artists like that, where I'm like re-listening to it. And I was like, oh shit, this was my shit. Like, my parents would play that, and I remember, like, and the memory of the song, like I'm singing it, like not the whole entire song, but I remember, and I'm like, wow, like I've just been stuck on it for like 3 days now, where I never would imagine that I would be listening to that type of music in my car, and here I am. And it's like bringing so much joy inside me. Like I can't explain it, but here we are, full circle. I'm not confused anymore. Like I feel like there is a good way to balance your two cultures. There is a way to have pride in both and to feel like you belong in both, but because tengo sangre mexicana and tengo sangre puertorriqueña. Like I don't have to choose one or the other. I am both. I am whole. I am me. And it is okay if I don't speak perfect Spanish, even though sometimes I feel clowned by my man because he does, you know, but he's teaching me. And I'm healing this like part of my inner child that was damaged at some point in my life that I don't even remember. And I can't wait to explore that more, but I really wanted to share that, and I feel like that was a really good season finale for me because it was so eye-opening. I've been driving home listening to the music and just like really soaking it in and really trying to deep dive in my head, like, why was it that I shunned myself from this culture for so long? Like, why do I feel like I don't belong when I grew up with it? When I am like remembering all the things, family parties, like dancing it with my stepdad, listening to the music with them, like, and it also made me a little bit sad because I feel like my stepdad was he's first generation, and or not first generation. He actually he immigrated. So you know, growing up with him as my stepdad and just a parent who was very involved in my life and just the things that he taught me, the things that he did, like it makes me a little bit sad because I feel like throughout the years he's become very Americanized. And now that I'm like getting back into this culture, I miss those things. And I think that this is also like healing that part of myself to where I'm starting to feel a little bit more connected to my parents because I'm remembering the things that I loved most growing up that at that time maybe I felt like I didn't love. I'm gonna get emotional. But I feel like it's really bringing me closer to my stepdad. Like, and I haven't said anything to him yet, but I want to find the right time to because I miss that. And I feel like I want him to get back into that and be proud of his culture and to listen to that music again because I love that. And I didn't realize how much I loved it until now as an adult. But I feel like that's what happens to a lot of us. There's a lot of things that we feel like we didn't like as kids. And then now that we're adults and like, it's like nostalgic and we're like, oh shit, like I really did enjoy doing that with my parents. I really did enjoy hearing that music. Like I miss it. So thank you guys for a great first season. I am Confusión part 2. I'm not going to be Confusión no more. I am going to embrace my two cultures as a bicultural woman. I am going to live the best of both worlds because we have great music in Mexico and we have great music in Puerto Rico. And I can love and I can be part of both cultures and not feel like I have to be one or the other, or like I don't belong in one or I don't belong in the other. So thank you guys. So crazy to see where we were from episode 1 to now. Pero I'm not going to have no more confusion. All right. I can't wait to start season 2 with you guys and talk about chapter 31, my birthday. All right. Have an amazing rest of your week and we will talk very soon. Bye.